In this episode, my ride continues across southern Peru. With the coastal desert behind me, I'll be turning inland to explore the grand enigmatic etchings of Nazca and Palpa before my path continues northward to South America's only desert oasis at Huacachina. I might have been somewhat severe in my earlier portrayal of Atico as just another truck stop. On closer inspection, it's rather more expansive than anticipated, with a seaside charm that's not entirely without appeal. Scarcely have the beach shacks faded in the rearview mirror before I find myself traversing an ancient lava field, a desolate expanse that looks as if it's been sculpted by the devil himself during a particularly bored afternoon. The road continues to cling to the coastline snaking through the rocks. Even shrouded in greyness, the landscape has great visual appeal. But when the sun finally emerges, it transforms the scene into a vivid tableau, where the deep blue of the Pacific Ocean collides spectacularly with the golden sands. The only thing missing from this picture postcard scene is the postcard itself. Like in Chile, where the desert sidles up to the sea with a show of bravura, you can't help but marvel at the peculiar colour schemes on offer. While Chile's dunes wear a coat of red, Peru drapes itself in a cloak of more golden hues. It does leave me wondering if there's some secret cosmic painter at work, deciding on the palette for these two neighbouring shores.
After the sun comes the rain, the rain. After the fall comes the pain, the pain.
Climbing from sea level, the green-tinged hills leave me wondering what special deal allows stuff to grow here in the otherwise barren landscape.
I'm on a bed of nails, love, and I'm laying there. I'm laying there, calling on the city of love, calling on the city of love. I don't wanna wait.
But it's not long before normal service is resumed.
I don't wanna wait at all. Calling on the city of love, calling on the city of love. I don't wanna break off.
Peru may have engineered this pristine road along the coast, but constructing it at sea level appears to come with its share of drawbacks. Chief among them is the sand's irksome tendency to disregard road markings whenever it feels like it. Over another hill, and a brief fertile valley quickly gives way to more highway as I start to veer away from the coast and back to the desert proper. The sandy vistas have an eerie familiarity to them, reminding me of northern Chile and the desert's end that comes from cruising these empty highways.
Love, am I right? horizons are all blue. I'm on a bed of nails, love, and I'm laying there. I'm laying there, calling on the city of love, calling on the city of love. I don't wanna wait at all. I don't wanna wait at all.
It isn't long, however, before the sight of wind turbines and vegetation that loosely resembles trees signals my imminent arrival at the outskirts of Nazca, and the increasing traffic serves as an undeniable confirmation. As I hit the town proper, Garmin, it seems, has yet another special route in store for your humble traveller. However, this time, it appears I'm not alone in this cartographic misadventure. Everyone else seems to be along for the ride as well. Nazca itself isn't much more than a speck on the map, and before long I realise I've just ridden past my hotel, but nothing a cheeky U-turn can't resolve. Day 29, and I'm heading out to explore the geoglyphs and lines which have made Nazca world famous. The lines themselves, a mere 27 k's north of the town along the Pan-American Highway, are remarkably accessible. Convenient, yes, but you do need to ponder the wisdom of slicing a massive road through a 2,000-year-old World Heritage Site. The clash between modern expedience and ancient artistry seems at best a regrettable oversight. From ground level, the whole spectacle is rather underwhelming, a fact that makes it entirely understandable why this grand desert graffiti remained unnoticed for millennia. My first stop is the natural Mirador, a viewpoint of modest elevation which promises a slightly better view of the Nazca Playa. It's also home to the Nazca cat, a feline phantom etched into the hillside with such subtlety that it remained unseen for almost 2,000 years, having only been rediscovered in 2020 when workers were installing the stairs for the Mirador. From the summit, the natural viewpoint does offer some fairly decent views, which is fortunate as drones are sadly banned in this area. This prohibition likely aims to prevent any further risk to low-flying tourists whose lunches are already on the line as they circle the site from above in the local equivalent of an airborne sardine tin. A short ride up the road brings me to the next Mirador, far less natural but with considerably better views of some of the famous geoglyphs. But before scaling the tower, one must first observe the time-honoured Peruvian tradition of purchasing a tourist ticket. After a brisk climb, up 100 or so steps, I'm rewarded with the sweeping panorama of the playa and the desert's elaborate doodles. The lizard, the tree and the hands might sound like an odd set of Monopoly pieces, but like all the lines in this region, their purpose is unclear. A distinct lack of towers and aircraft 2,000 years ago raises the question of just how these ancient artists ensured accuracy and appreciated their handiwork. Apparently, over 100 figures have been found in this desert landscape so far, but sadly most are only viewable from the air. Not wanting to risk my wallet, let alone my lunch, I opt to press on northwards to the equally mystifying but far less renowned etchings at Palpa. First views at Palpa come courtesy of another natural mirador. Meanwhile, the sun, always eager to assert its dominance, has kicked it up a notch. With my hat happily enjoying the aircon back at my hotel, I'm forced to improvise and fashion some stylish headwear from my Revit neck tube. As I ascend the mirador, I begin to grasp the secret behind these enigmatic lines. A dark rocky crust conceals a paler sandy underbelly. Yet the real puzzle persists, how anyone managed to draw these lines on such a colossal scale and still end up with something recognisable at the end of it all. Palpa is home to around 25 geoglyphs, all of which are thought to predate their more well-known Nazca neighbours. A staggering thought, given these lines were only rediscovered in 2018. Further up the road, a second mirador looms, also of the less natural variety. It appears I've got the place all to myself, which is a bonus considering the slightly rickety looking tower. It seems dubious sturdiness is factored into the free admission, no charge for the thrill of wondering if the whole structure might give way at any moment. While their Nazcan cousins seem content with cryptic lines and abstract geometries, the artists of Palpa took a more humanist approach, adorning their hills with figures rather than mere shapes, as if trying to remind us that long before there were mysteries in lines, there were people behind them. As the afternoon shadows began to stretch, it became clear that it was time to hit the road once more and knock off the 40-odd Ks back to Nazca. With the day's mysterious lines now behind me, I'm reminded once more of the simple pleasures provided by my two-wheeled steed. As I effortlessly glide past the queue at the toll station, I can't help but feel a smug gratitude for the freedom it affords me. Arriving back at the outskirts of town, I wanted to take a quick detour to indulge my curiosity of some ancient aqueducts I'd read about in passing. The aqueducts themselves prove a little underwhelming, but it's a pleasant if somewhat bumpy ride through the palms and the soft glow of the late afternoon sun. With the sights dwindling and a creeping fatigue settling in, it seemed the universe was gently suggesting it was time to call it a day and make my way back to the hotel. Day 30, and it's once more out to explore the sights of Nazca. Assuming I can break free from the city's traffic grip. And just as I'm plotting my escape, I realise I'm not the only one with somewhere else to be. turns out, my departure from Nazca is surprisingly smooth, and soon enough I'm weaving through the dusty outskirts. However, unbeknownst to me, Garmin has another special on its mind. I could have turned right just there, and been on a paved road straight to my destination. Instead, Garmin decided I needed a more scenic gravel experience, and took me on a loop the long way round. My first stop is the historic Cantalloc Aqueducts, which, unlike yesterday's underwhelming set, promise a considerably more interesting experience. Imagine, if you will, a grand feat of engineering ingenuity crafted over 1500 years ago, and a testament to the resourcefulness of an ancient civilization. The aqueducts are a symphony of stone and wind. The round apertures don't merely punctuate the landscape, but harness the whispers of the wind, guiding the breeze into a labyrinth of subterranean passageways that channel water from natural aquifers. Next on the day's itinerary are a set of Incan ruins known as Los Paradones, or, in English, the Walls. Los Paradones might not be up there with some of the Inca's other architectural masterworks, and a sorry state of repair doesn't help, but the effort still nods to the ancient precision and skill that mark their construction techniques. Built in the 15th century, the site is believed to have been an important link between the coastal and inland realms. The relatively brief loop leads me up the hill, promising improved vistas over the site and the wider Nazca Valley. Unfortunately, there's somewhat little to feast the eyes on. The view, though elevated, offers scarcely more than a broad sweep of faded glory and some distant mountain peaks. Navigating through a miniature dust storm, I set my sights on the final destination of the day, a site of far greater renown, the Huacachina Pyramids. However, as I hit the dirt road, I find that Garmin has christened the day's second special route, once more eschewing a more conventional direct and paved option, and dropping me instead on the wrong side of a broad riverbed with no way of crossing. Reluctantly, I swing the bike around and start heading back. But realising I'm on the southern edge of the Nazca Playa, I decide to make the best of it by deploying my drone, hoping for a glimpse of some cosmic graffiti. Sadly, in respecting the boundaries of the no-fly zone, I find the landscape offers little more than an expanse of hot and dusty nothingness. With the sun bearing down and the thrill of discovery fading, I decide it's time to retreat. The allure of aircon and the cool hotel pool suddenly seem far more enticing than any further forays into the dusty unknown. Today, I take my leave of Nazca, waving a fond farewell to its ancient mysteries as I chart a course northward. My destination is the enchanting desert oasis town of Huacachina, a place that promises more than a few palm trees and some very serious sand dunes. My route takes me out of town and back through the Nazca Playa. Despite the gloom, I welcome the respite it brings from yesterday's heat. North of Palpa, the road serves up more dry desert monotony, occasionally interrupted by the surprising green of an irrigated valley contrasting against the grey of both the landscape and the sky. Before long, I'm greeted by another ascent as the road climbs and aligns me for yet more sand and sky. This leg of the journey leads me towards Izak, a bustling city lying close to the dunes of Huacachina. approach the outskirts of Ica, a fleeting surge of anxiety ripples through me as I notice the policeman has been trailing me for a spell. But my apprehension proves short-lived. It appears he's merely running late for his lunch break. Not long after, I encounter an unexpected roadblock. It takes a moment to register that we might be in the presence of something substantial passing through. With little choice but to wait, it seems my progress will be delayed, along with the officer's lunch plans. Barely a few minutes later, and without so much as a hint of warning, the scene transforms from a mundane roadblock into mild chaos as everyone suddenly scrambles to clear the way. As the immense wind turbine blade sweeps past, it's now perfectly clear why they insisted we get out of the way. And before long, I find myself deeply grateful that it was heading in the opposite direction. The traffic jam finally melts away as I make my way into Ica proper. Luckily, I'll only be brushing past the town's fringes before veering westward towards the sandy oasis of Huacachina. The romantic in me envisaged a remote oasis tucked away in some hidden corner of the desert. In truth though, Huacachina lies just a stone's throw from Ica's bustling sprawl, so it's only a brief ride through the dunes before I'm dodging the inevitable parade of tourist towns. Momentarily dazzled by the sight of a much fancier hotel, it takes me a moment to realise that my own, less grand lodgings are actually behind me. Nestled amid an array of imposing sand dunes, this small town sprung up around a natural lake in the 19th century. While the lake itself is authentic, nearby farming has siphoned off enough water over the years that locals now have to turn on the tap from time to time to keep it from drying up entirely. Uncharacteristically for a tourist hotspot, Huacachina isn't overrun with hotels, eateries or Instagramming hordes. The place exudes a laid-back charm, even if some of the restaurant names suggest either an adventurous approach to marketing or a dubious grasp of the English language. Most visitors opt for a leisurely hike up the dunes, but for those with a taste for excitement, a sunset dash across the desert sands is a perfect way to wrap up the day. Fog. Red beaches. Ituks. Alleys. Back streets. Deliveries. Roadblocks. And public transport.